Right now on VFNtv, former CEO and chairman of General Electric is giving some business strategies for CEOs and business owners right now.
Be sure to subscribe and press alert to get new notifications of new success secrets made available on VFNtv.
If you have never heard about Jack Welch, he's an amazing man. He's the CEO and chairman, former, of General Electric. So much wisdom. He took that company, it was just stretched all over the place, and he brought it back into a place of productivity and profit. It was just amazing. I'm Greg Lancaster, and joining me is John Ramos.
Hello.
This is an amazing man, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, 20-year tenure from 1981 to 2001, and just tremendous. You know, GE had companies like Honeywell, had companies like Boeing, huge companies, and so they had major expectations.
NBC television.
Oh, NBC, yeah. So what he's able to do is great. In fact, today he has his own MBA program at Strayer University. So they're still teaching
MBA, not NBA.
Yeah, MBA, Masters of Business.
He's wealthy enough to own one, but he doesn't have a team.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think they cut him a $481 bonus check. $1 million when he left.
$481 for him? Oh my goodness, okay.
So, but anyway, we have these 7 strategies, these 7 principles, if you will, from Jack Welch for CEOs and business owners, and you're gonna be blessed. I guess the first one we wanna talk about is strategy, execution, and people all go together. Take a look.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure that I agree with that, but I never think of strategy as one thing. I think strategy, execution, and people all go together. And if you don't get the people right, the strategy doesn't matter. And if you don't get the people right, you won't get the execution. So you're dead. So from my standpoint, strategy is sort of a purist thing. It's more academic. Execution and getting it done is what it's all about. But without question, that whole idea of winning and driving home what you're going to do and what you're not going to do.
Execution and getting it done is what it's all about. There's so many ways today that you can dream and you could look at what other people are doing, but the difference between those who do and those who don't is that those who do. That's so important, you know.
It's all about points on the board.
Yes.
You can strategize, and you can, they have the principle, ready, aim, fire, right? Where some people are ready. Some people just fire without getting ready.
And some aim.
Or
ready,
aim. Never pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So it all counts. And I like the way he broke it down, where these are not individual components, but in fact, it all matters. You got to have the right strategy. You have to have the right people.
And the right execution.
And you have to have the right execution. But it hinges on having the right people. And so it's worth making the extra effort to recruit the right people on your team.
You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you have people that are not buying into the vision, they're not wanting to be there, or they just don't buy into it, they're not going to execute it. Or maybe they don't have the talents or skills. Maybe that's just not their abilities and capabilities.
I'm reminded when you had your plastics company, there was a specific person that you recruited to help you take your company.
I went through quite a few that they could actually execute products, but they couldn't actually execute the job. And so
you didn't need someone just to show up. You needed somebody to actually.
Well, they were kind. I'm not saying they weren't kind. They were kind and they were good people, but they didn't have the skills. But I was able to locate the master fabricator. Master fabricator on the Gulf Coast during that time. And I hired Patricia. She was really good, and she was able to deliver. It was an amazing thing. So strategy, people, and execution. Those are. You think about those 3 things. It's important. It's important to take your time on. You got to work out your strategy.
Yeah.
You got to be able to really invest. We're going to talk about investing in your team a little later on, I'm sure, one of the strategies. But the people that you can have the right people, but not actually, working with the people. And you can grow people. You can help them grow in their maturity and that type of thing.
Yeah. And you can lose the right people by not having the right strategy execution.
Right.
If you're going to get the talent, you're going to get people that are high performing, that have the skill set, those people need to be challenged. They need to be stretched.
Yeah.
And so you won't keep them for long if you don't have the right strategy.
That's very good. That's very good. That's 3 things. And if anybody knows, Welch would know, right?
He would know.
Okay.
He would know. All right, so number 2.
Now we're talking specifically about strategies,
Strategies, right?
From the former CEO, Jack Welch of General Electric, giving key strategies for CEOs and for business leaders.
Owners, yes. Hire the right people and build the right team. Take a look.
Well, I came there as a fresh engineer, the lowest one on the totem pole. And I was going along quite well, and I came in for my first annual review, and I was making $10,000. And he didn't dislike me. He just thought I was sort of a thorn in his side. But I got a raise. I got a $1,000 raise, which was a 10% raise. And I was quite pleased with that raise until I went back to my bullpen, where there were 6 engineers who were in there together. And I happened to, because of my mother's injection of self-confidence, thought I was a better engineer. So I'm back and I sat down and we all talked about what we got this year. And every one of us got a $1,000 raise. So I quit within 2 weeks. And I moved my family to Chicago, about 1,000 miles away. And I was at the going away party that my boss was having for me, actually. He was quite pleased to have a going away party for me. and I was at the party, and his boss from New York flew up to this small town we worked in and convinced me to stay, got me away from this boss, gave me a much bigger raise, and I stayed, and it changed my life forever.
And
I learned something from it.
Yeah,
I have a big lesson. Differentiation. Now, I'm not sure this is popular here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Differentiation is absolutely the key to building great teams. As I said in the beginning, this game that we're going to talk about tonight, this is all about building great teams. The idea that Jack Welch could design a jet engine, build a plow plant, write a comedy for television, all these things is silly. It's just not doable. The only thing you can do is, in many ways, be a good orchestra conductor where you hire great people, keep raising the standards, keep getting better people, and forcing yourself to learn from them. The idea that you have all the answers is a joke.
President Ronald Reagan had a sign on his desk. He says, you can accomplish anything if you're willing to share the credit.
Yeah.
That's what he's obviously doing.
Yeah.
He's saying, listen, you just got to get the right team in, the right members.
Get the right team and compensate them, you know? If you have high achievers, you want to incentivize these contracts. The first thing he realized was that we're all getting paid the same. That's very deflating depending on the type of position. Obviously, if you're business, you're in sales, you're doing those type of things, you want to have some sort of pay-for-performance contract that keeps some of these folks engaged and keeps them moving and some sort of meritocracy.
Right. When we reward hard work.
Yeah.
You know, reward hard work. If you reward work that's done poorly, then you're actually saying that's what we want more of.
Sure.
You know.
And if everyone gets a flat, like you see this sometimes in the educational system or different type of jobs, you know, just because they pay them the same doesn't mean you're getting the best results.
Yes.
You know, some teachers actually excel more and maybe some don't do as much. We don't know, but you need differentiation. Like
that's awesome. And he said that because he's on a university, I'm sure, and the universities are trying to get everybody to mesh in and be the same.
Yes.
And the reality is that it doesn't work that way. If you're and what they're doing is they're taking away the ability for you to achieve. If you buy into these educational narratives they have over the universities now that says you need to blend in.
Bell curve.
You need to be
on the bell curve.
The bell curve. You need to be. It's just this mass people. That's what China says. China says they talk about the masses. They don't talk about the individual. And America was birthed off the individual, the freedoms, one nation under God, accountable to God, but having this nation to be able to think and to operate and merit. You get promoted by merit. You work hard, but sometimes you fail. But you work hard and you can actually be blessed more. Listen, comment below. What are your thoughts so far? We're going to be having our number 3 strategy from Jack Welch in a moment, but we get back from this break. But comment below. What are your thoughts? Also, we're going to have even more of these segments inside the VFNKB community. So go to VFNKBcommunity.com. Join the community. You're going to get access to every single part. But John?
When we get back from this break, we're going to be talking about Jack Welch's very famous strategy that he used across all the companies that GE managed. It was one of the key components to their awesome success. Join us when we get right back from this break.
We'll be right back.
Don't miss your chance to get this free book, I Will Fight 10 Strategies for Your Success, where I share a prophetic encounter God gave me about a coming wealth transfer. And this whole genesis of this book and these strategies is to position you for a coming wealth transfer. It's 10 strategies for success, dealing with your belief, your actions, commitments, giving you plans, giving you strategies. I mean, so many things I can't even talk about, but it's yours for free. Go to VFNkb.com and get your free copy now.
Do you believe in the cross of Christ?
I'm a pastor.
If you believe, then the question is, what are you going to do about it?
I'm not the Son of God because you say I am. I'm the Son of God because God says I am. I'm not confident because of what I can do. I'm confident because of what God says He will do. I'm not forgiven because I've earned acceptance. I'm forgiven because God says He has forgiven. Help me preach. I'm not going to do it because I think I can. I'm doing it because God said I could. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Welcome back to VFNtv with your host, Greg Lancaster.
We're hearing some awesome strategies from Jack Welch, the former CEO and chairman of General Electric. John?
Yes, we're talking about key strategies for business owners and CEOs. Jack Welch's strategy for success, and we're talking about number 3. So many times businesses, you want to be all things to all people, and sometimes we think that the more products we have or the more services that we provide, that we can help more people and maybe increase our profit margin. But the truth is that you only can excel at a certain amount of things. You got to know what's your niche. Well, Jack developed this amazing strategy called Fix, Close, and Sell, and this is what he implemented across all the companies that GE owned. Take a look.
Well, Peter Drucker, I've got to give him credit for this idea. And it's a thought you all ought to think about. Peter Drucker had a zillion great thoughts, but this was one of them. If you weren't already in this business, would you enter it now? And if the answer is no, what are you going to do about it? And from that came Fix, Close, or Sell. So what we did was we put all the businesses that we were number 1 or number 2 in, and there were a number of them, there were 16 of them. But we prided ourselves on having 71 businesses. So we put all the other businesses outside of the circles. We had a services circle, a technology service business, and a manufacturing segment. 3 circles. And then outside the circle were some 63 businesses. The people outside the circles were madder than what are we, in a leper colony? What's wrong with us? Etc. We had some businesses that we were carrying as losers for decades. But that's who we were. We were in those businesses. They no longer made sense. We were making television sets in a town called Syracuse, New York, a plant there. And our manufacturing costs was 25% more than the Japanese were selling television sets in Syracuse, New York.
So he's talking about find out what you're best at.
Yes.
Find out what you're best at. What that one thing that you could do, or those few things that you could do, right? What else?
That's so important because think about it. You can do a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we can all excel in, right? But at the end of the day, what can your team turn over? What is best for the customer? And at the end of the day, what is profitable? So many businesses, they're not looking into their numbers, and they realize that they're losing everything on a certain products that they carry, but that's because one partner always wanted to have that product, or it had sentimental value, and that's how we did it 20 years ago. But it's not making any money.
Right.
We're losing everything. But maybe this other thing that you're maybe not so fond of, but it's paying the bills and you have great margins, you got to streamline.
I remember a company that I purchased once, and I was looking at the books. I'm thinking, like, they were moving a ton of product, but it was like, you're not making any money on any product. It was just like the activity. It was just enough coming in. It was like there was no value added to anything. Nothing. No margin. And I thought, but from a distance, it looks like it's busy, it's doing stuff. But when you get down to the basics, it's like, this thing, you either got to crank the numbers up and let it die, and find something else, or, this is just not going to happen, right?
And that's why there's two parts to the business that are so important. It's called working in the business. Those are your hours of operations.
Yeah.
You're open from 9 to 5. And then there's time where you work on the business.
Yeah.
And that's when you're getting into the numbers, you're getting into your SOPs, your policies, your strategies. You're finding out, are we even making any money? Right. Just because money's coming into the bank account and it's going back out doesn't mean that you're actually increasing. But oftentimes, too, that when it's time for you to work on the business, you're normally tired. It's normally at the end of the night.
You didn't prioritize it because it's a valuable thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you also need to get with somebody, possibly a coach, that can help you in those areas. Because a lot of times at that time, you don't really want to talk with an employee. They have an employee mindset often. You want to talk with another business perspective as to what we can do.
VFNtv coaching.
Absolutely.
It's right up the line.
And we've done that quite a bit.
Well, I think about Michael Hyatt and company. He talks about front stage, backstage. Everybody loves the limelight. And that's when you're doing your thing. That's when you're delivering your product and you're manufacturing your thing. You're doing that service. But then there's backstage. You got to develop the script, you got to build the set, you got to do all these different things. And so you have backstage work that nobody sees you doing, but you got to do that work to be able to have a front stage performance. Same thing you're saying, but just the back and front. And think about this, you got to block time. We talk about it all the time about blocking time and setting time up to just focus on the front stage or what you're talking about, working in your business. And then you got to actually set time aside and be strategic about it. About where you're going to work on your business or behind the stage, because you're not going to have anything to say on the stage.
You're not going to have a front end.
You can't afford the stage. You got to be able to. It's both of them are important. It seems like that other thing has got almost the hottest thing, but you run out of things to do.
Yeah, psychologically, the business owners fighting. Yeah. I cannot be out here selling the beans and weenies. I got to be out here pushing them.
Yeah.
You don't realize you may not have any more beans and weenies to push out the window.
Right, and it's worth it. It's obviously not as rewarding to sometimes to sit back and do the groundwork that somebody else is going to act out on the stage and write the script, but understand it just all has to be, every part has to fit together, and that's a very important part. It's very good, very good point.
Yeah. So we're talking about number 4, we're talking about Jack Welch's CEO, Chairman of General Electric, strategy for business owners and CEOs for success. And we're talking about number 4, which is so important. Jack is going to be talking to us about coaching your employees. A lot of times, again, so many responsibilities, so many things you got to do, but we often overlook that our true assets is not our service or the product we provide. It's the people that work for us that are helping to service our customer. And if we're the business owners don't coach them and polish them sometimes, who is?
Right.
So Jackson delivers some great wisdom. Take a look.
If you, in fact, don't have your people knowing exactly where they stand, what they're doing well, what they have to do to improve, and where their future's going. The idea of calling people in, guess what happens when this happens? You have to call people in like I did in the early 80s and say to them, I'm sorry, Mary, you have to go. And Mary says to you, why me? And you have to say to him, oh, you're the worst person that we have here. And she says to you, but I've been here 31 years. Why didn't anybody ever tell me? Yeah. That's the sin of management. That's what and people say, I'm too kind to give an honest appraisal. Kind, that's cowardly. We have 26 of the Fortune 200 CEOs work for me. The head of Boeing, the head of Honeywell, these huge companies are my friends. But we didn't have a place for them at the end. And that's but they knew the game. Transparency. Olaf talked about it today. You can't be too transparent with your people. They must know where they stand.
Could you imagine having a football coach that spends all of his time, or her time, but his time on picking players, and once they pick the players, they just go have some coffee somewhere and go meet with their friends and just kind of expect them to play together, expect them to be honed in their talents, to work together as a team, and to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
For some reason.
No.
They pay coaches a lot.
Millions.
Alabama pays coaches a lot.
Yeah, it
oh
does.
my goodness.
But they get results, don't
So
they?
coaching. So coaching, talk about a couple things about coaching.
Well, it's important. I thought the three things that he said were just absolutely brilliant. It's not so much the complexity, it's the fact of executing the things that make the difference. One is talk to your employee about what are they doing well.
Yeah, first.
Yeah, first. You want to be able to reward great performance. I love those companies that give attaboys and all those different attagirls and recognize them doing something great, because what gets rewarded gets done oftentimes. The second thing is always give them a plan for what they need to improve. That employee needs to understand that they haven't arrived yet, that they always can be better. But if you create an environment where learning, growing, developing is the culture, then they already have a buy-in. And the last thing is so great too, is to give them a vision for the future. This is what you've been doing, this is what you need to improve on, but if you keep on this path, this is what I can see for you. And it helps that person stay motivated, engaged, inspired.
Well, you think about it, without vision, people just kind of get destroyed, or also vision brings restraint.
Yes.
So when you paint a future for me, it helps me be more motivated to do what you're talking about for my improvement today.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the likelihood you'll be able to retain that employee and not have them recruited out of your business. That's right. A sad thing when you've taken all this time to develop that employee, coach that employee, but because we didn't give them a big enough vision, someone else came with another vision and took them out. I think about when Steve Jobs was looking for a CEO, he went to the guy who was over Pepsi, and he said, do you want to sell sugar water all your life, or do you want to change the world?
You told the secret, man, the sugar water, you told the secret.
And he's like, man, I want to change the world.
No, everybody knows it's all sugar water with sparkles.
Hey, man.
Yeah, right.
Listen to Steve Jobs, but he gave him a compelling vision and recruited him right out of Pepsi.
Right. That's
which
good. That's very good, man. So what's the fifth?
Number 5, we're talking about Jack Welch's strategies for success. Jack is CEO and chairman of General Electric. Mm-hmm. But number 5 is, what is the most important job you have as a CEO, manager, or business owner? Take a look.
One of the jobs you have as a manager, forget CEO, one of the jobs you have as a manager is to pump every day self-confidence into your team, to make them feel great, to make people like me feel like I got a full head of hair and I'm 6'10". That's what you want to do. You want to get into people's skin and excite them about where you're going and why you're going. One of the things about change is, I'm sure Olaf took care of this, but when you come in as the new CEO or the new boss even, every new boss has a new direction, new change. Let me give you, and they explain why we're changing, what's in it for the company to change, but they forget one thing. People hate change, and people want to know what's in it for me.
They want to know what's in it for them. I think about some of the most powerful moments in history, is when a leader gives a speech that just shifts people to do the tough things, and it's ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country, right? John F. Kennedy. Or coaches that have that coach talk. Some of the most powerful scenes in some movies are when that coach has that one talk before that last play that takes them over the line, and that you got to be that woman, that man that gives those kind of speeches, on a daily basis, right?
It's part of your job description.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the business owners like, well, who's going to pump me up? I need someone to encourage me. You need a coach.
VFNtv, oh my goodness, that's exactly it.
But you got to go out in the field every day, no matter what the bank account statements say, no matter what's going on in your personal life, no matter, what equipment broke or what's happening, you have to go in and believe in those employees, and I like to say polish them up, because sometimes, people want to turn over employees to get a new one. Work with the employee you got. Get that polishing rag and polish them up, pump them up, and let
You're
them
not
know that
literally
you believe in them.
talking about buffing them or polishing them.
No. I'm
You're
just
talking
about
help their skills get better, teach them some classes they can go to. There's so much online training now that you can go to. You can go to VFNtv coaching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Encourage them. That's the whole thing. People are looking for them to believe again. And what, especially after a great failure, when you come in as an owner and a business person and you put their arm around them and say, listen, let's get back up again and let's try this again. You're the right person. You're the right girl for the job. You're the right lady for the job. Let's do this.
I've seen it, several times where you're able to go into where the owner will have you come in and speak to the employees and help cast vision and help kind of reiterating. It's sort of like, it could have been exactly what he or she were saying, but just the fact that it's coming from an outside source, it's just like, boom, let's run with this thing. I know we don't have a lot of time, but we got actually 2 more specific ones we're going to cover, but we're going to cover them in the VFNkb community. You get it's in its entirety, the 6th and the 7th, by going today. Just join it for free. It's VFNkbcommunity.com, and we'll cover it. And there's so many things there to be able to help you out and encourage you. This is what this is all about. It's about empowering you. God has given you talents, and he expects you to succeed with them. And we feel our call is helping you be successful in that call. Our success is your success. Your success is our success. And our success together is the kingdom's success. I want to pray with you right now. Make sure you comment below and let us know your thoughts right there. Father God, I just pray a blessing over our audience. God, I pray this inspiration will encourage and empower, Father God, each and every one that's listening. And God, we ask you, dear God, end abortion, send revival, send a 3rd great awakening, we pray, in Jesus' name. And don't forget how easy it is. Love God, love others, and lead others to do the same. And I'll see you in the VFNkb community.
Wait. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe. Listen, together we can touch the world. That's right. Subscribe below, right? Wait. Don't go away. Subscribe. We're going to touch the world.
You know, a lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it. You can request that plan today at iabide.org.
Hey, be sure to check us out at VFNkb.com, and also join the VFNkb community at VFNkbcommunity.com. Listen, your success is our success is your success, and our success together is kingdom success.